What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rock of Truth podcast. Before we start, a special word from our sponsor, Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Danco Joe is offering a special promotion to celebrate. Call Danco Joe to schedule any service and receive a free oil change when you mention Rock of Truth podcast through the end of November or whenever Danco Joe comes to his senses and stops giving away things. That's right, a free oil change. Go to danco.com on Route 4 in Fairfield. Tell them Soppy sent you. Fellas.
What's up, Jake?
How we doing?
Pretty good, man. I could use a free oil change. My light actually just kicked on a couple days ago.
Does that work for us?
Probably.
Hell yeah, it works for us.
I need an oil change.
You
Tell
trying
them
to go?
Soppy sent you, man.
Let's go tomorrow.
Go to our boy Danco Joe. Tell him Soppy sent you. Get your oil change. Get that merch that we need. Make it yeah.
We do need to get the trucker hats. That's right.
Let's make it happen.
But go ahead.
Yeah, dude. The Bearcats won another football game.
Love it.
It was kind of gross, but we won, and that's all that matters. So,
Bowl eligible.
Yeah, we're bowl eligible. That's a big deal, man.
5 years in a row. Bowl eligible for 5 years in a row. Didn't cover the spread. I don't know if either of you hammered the Bearcats in the spread last week. Didn't cover. I stayed away from it. But, obviously win's a win. I'm going to keep taking your guys' advice. Like, wins are hard. They're hard to come by. We watched UCF lose, right? We watched UCF lose at ECU. And I think, if I might be mistaken, but UCF's only won like one road conference game the last 2 years. I could be wrong. They've only won a few, they've lost a lot of road conference games over the last few years.
You're correct. One road conference win in 2 years.
Okay. Wow. See, so they've only won one road conference game last year and this year. So, I know we kind of look. I know at times, us as Bearcat fans, we look at UCF and we kind of look at them as the right below us, right? But there's a huge difference between us continually getting wins. I think we're on 8 or 9 straight road conference wins. We're almost to 20. We're 19. Saturday would make 20 if we beat UCF, straight conference wins. So, obviously, I think we looked atrocious on Saturday. I didn't think it looked good at all. But I also am taking your both advice as former players. Wins are wins. Wins are hard to come by. So, hey, let's continue to celebrate each win and celebrate the fact that we don't have to play these teams ever again outside of this week, obviously. But, hey, we are never going to Dallas again to play in front of, 200 people, which is an exciting thing for me.
I was disappointed. They said it was SMU's homecoming, and there was absolutely nobody there.
Right? It looked like a it looked like a high school basketball game,
They said that it was homecoming, and they probably mentioned 100 times on the game that it was at 11 a.m. start, which I know is early and stuff. But, dude, quickly, RG3 is hard to listen to on the call.
Awful.
I'm sorry, but, what was that about? He's corny as hell.
They were making so many weird jokes that just weren't landing, and I didn't find any of it funny. It was just so I was trying to watch a football game.
He's just any chance he get, he tries to make a dad joke, a corny ass dad joke, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Well, you guys
he's a corny guy, and everybody's known that for a long time, but I'm like, dude, you're just doing the most right now, man.
See, I didn't know that about RG3. I don't even follow him on Twitter, but for some reason he's been popping up crazy on my feed, and his videos, he tries to act like the dude, the guy who impersonates coaches and makes fun of the players, during a what, kind of little not PG version. Right. And I feel like that's what RG3 is trying to be when I'm like, dude, you won a Heisman. What can we get your input? As a top, former top college football quarterback. So I agree. I think he's pretty bad. I was on the drive up to Circleville, Ohio. First time going there ever in my life. Pretty cool. So I listened to the game on the radio, And yeah, it was frustrating. Definitely wanted to take out a few construction cones on the left side of the highway on my way. But I think, again, all in all, like Joe said, we won a ball game. Just keep winning. Climbing rankings a little bit, now 20th in the country. There is still a lot of good that came out of that football game. The first 6 drives defensively, I mean, we just came out of the bye week looking as dominant as we have played all season. They punted the ball 5 times and threw 1 pick on their first 6 drives. And they had a total of 24 plays, 51 yards. Like, that is straight dominant coming out of the gates of a football game. Frustrating part is that we only could build up a 17-point lead. Getting that interception by Arquan and only getting a field goal out of it felt like a loss. You still get points on the board, but you just really, really were hoping, like, okay, here come the Bearcats jumping out hot, 28, 24 point. I think at least another touchdown on the board, 24 zip. And, you just let teams hang around and you continue to let momentum build on the other side of the ball. Shit's going to happen. I mean, they had that tipped pass for a touchdown. I noticed there was a flag on that play, but that stood, didn't it? I wasn't tuned in at that moment. So am I correct on saying that? I just saw a little highlight.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm not 100% sure. I was gonna, I know you talked about the field goals.
It was pass interference.
So it was a touchdown.
Yeah. Okay. It was a touchdown, but there was a pass interference.
Right. Yeah, I was getting at, like, that's what shit's going to happen when you let a team hang around. The ball is just going to bounce their way, and it literally did. So Go ahead, Joe. I know you were going to get into it.
I think, like, before I kind of get on my negative rant, I'll do like a positive spin on Ryan Coe having a program record 5 field goals. So I think for all of our years, I know you two know, especially for all of our years of watching a lot of missed kicks, we won't we'll keep it positive. We don't need to call anyone out, but a lot of missed kicks for me as a fan for the last 3-4 years. I know you guys as players watch a lot of missed kicks, and you don't need to speak on it, but I'll say it. A lot of missed kicks. It was nice to have the kicking game win us the football game. I know the defense played really well. Obviously, there was many stages that won us the game, but 5 field goals with the wind. I know there was a lot of wind going on, so I don't know if that made it difficult or made it help the kicker. I'm not really sure where the wind was blowing, but either way, 5 made kicks, program record, awesome job by Ryan Coe, and it helped us win the football game, which was kind of a nice change of events if we're going to keep it positive, So look at me being positive. Props to me.
Proud of you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, the kicking game was huge. It's nice to see that take a step in the right direction. Something that we haven't really felt confident about in a long time, but it was great to see that. And like Statty said, it was kind of a gross game, but let's not take credit away from the defense. They played great. I know coming into it, SMU was had the 3rd best passing game in the country, averaging 336 yards passing per game. And I think we held Tanner Mordecai to 105 yards. I know he got hurt, but he just looked very uncomfortable.
Well, how much do you think the wind played a role in that? Because our offense struggled mightily as well. So can you? I don't know if you either of you have talked to anyone on the team or anything, but it has to have been something going on.
Yeah, I know they kept talking about the wind on the broadcast, and it sounded like it was something that was an issue. Throwing into the wind is very difficult, but I do know that Ben and Tanner both have really strong arms, and it's something that is affects it for sure. But I know those guys have strong enough arms to throw through it. So I'm sure that did play a little bit of a factor, but I really don't want to take away. I think the biggest factor for them struggling in the passing game was our defense, and especially the defensive line, the defensive front, getting to the quarterback. I mean, it felt like it was sack after sack, and even if they weren't getting to him, they were still causing pressure, and it just didn't look like he was comfortable whatsoever. And Their whole thing is like tempo, but you can't get into that if your offense isn't flowing. You can't get into tempo if it's, incompletion after incompletion, or you're running out of bounds, trying to avoid a sack and all that. So I think the defense played really well. The offense, not so much. I mean, they didn't look great. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I know, Joe, you wanted to talk about the red zone. Coming into it, their offense was doing pretty well in the red zone. They're scoring 86% in the red zone. 73% of those are touchdowns, and then those numbers are definitely not what they were before after that game because of the struggles that they had. But struggled in the red zone. You can't settle for field goals. You can get away with it against a SMU team that's not that great. But if you want to win this weekend, you got to come away with touchdowns in the red zone. And then they really struggled on like 3rd and short and 4th and short.
Big time.
Running the ball, just trying to run the ball. And that's kind of Fickles believes, like, tough and nasty. Any 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, we should be able to put the ball down, run it down their throats, and, we'll win. Our guys will beat their guys in the offensive line. And that's just wasn't the case on Saturday.
Trey Tucker also had 1 catch for 8 yards. And I would like to see him get the ball more. I don't know what that looks like, but even just like maybe a few screen passes or maybe some reverses. I don't know what that looks like, but getting him involved with his speed, I think that could help as well.
I agree, but in the defense, Trey had 3 drops.
Yeah, I know. He didn't look very good.
3 or 4 drops. So I think even if they were trying to get him involved, it just wasn't his day.
Yeah.
But I agree. Getting him out on the edge, he's such a threat, and it's not that he's just like fast. He's like a very like tough runner, and he's shifty. I was always very impressed with him for how small he was, how he ran the ball like a running back. Like it wasn't like one of those like speed guys who runs to the edge, gets hit, and goes out of bounds. Like he would fight for extra yards.
It also helps if we can get Tyler Scott back on Saturday. I know people want to complain, and I will say, like, when you have someone that can get behind a defense, they got to respect that with multiple people in the secondary. You both know that. So that helps a ton too, like, especially like when it comes to getting some of those short yardage plays and things like that. If you got to respect 21, I know a few times early in the year we've had some 3rd and short, 2nd and short scenarios where we've thrown it deep to 21, and that makes the defense kind of respect everything else a little bit more and have to respect that idea of sending him long and throwing the ball deep to him. So we need him back, in my opinion. That's a big one.
For sure.
I don't know. I think I'm trying to just kind of stay positive. I think with the wind and everything going on, I'm really intrigued to see what this week looks like because I think it will probably – you said what's the weather going to be like down there? You're down there.
It's going to be 85 and sunny. The weather's not going to be an issue.
So that shouldn't be an issue, right? So, like, we'll get to see what we're going to look like this week and see if we got any better after the bye week. I think last week there was probably a few things that played into why the offense was bad, and we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully some changes are made and we can walk away this week not worrying about what happened the last few weeks that we've played.
Yeah, I agree. Having 21 out is huge because you'll be able to see good things happen when you get him the ball. And he's obviously our best deep threat. What do we always say? Like, he runs the best post route in all of America, and getting him the ball downfield is a huge part of our offense of what we want to do. So getting him back is huge. But I do want to give a shout out to one step down from 21-20, Jaden Thompson, man. He looked really good last week. He has looked really good the week before. Jaden's one of those guys that, like, if you get him the ball, he gains confidence. And when he gets that confidence, he can be really good. So getting him touches, I think getting him the ball more, he's only going to get better. I thought he looked really good. And I think if you can kind of get him involved and take that next step in that offense, that's just, another weapon to add. And, and then also RG3 was calling for it all game. He wouldn't stop. That guy's got a hard on for Josh Wiley. Would not stop talking about getting the ball to 81. But when we did get the ball to 81, good things happen. And
we've been saying it too. So
continue to try to get Josh the rock.
I think the bright spot of the offense is Chuck. I mean, another 100-yard game.
3 of them this year. He almost has 700 yards in 7 games. He's a little bit short of it. But man, as he ran the ball really hard and really well, just a great story from all those knee injuries to being able to kind of be the feature back this year, which is awesome.
And I mean, it honestly sometimes leaves me scratching my head, like when we run him kind of on a short yardage run, but he's able to he's so compact and just a quick little shift. I mean, throws the defender off just crazy, which leads to him getting those big bursts of runs. And I think with two maybe getting a little bit more healthier as we go down more of this home stretch, I like them a little 1-2 punch in the backfield. But no, Chuck getting over 100 yards, very impressive. That's probably the first game, I think, in Ben Bryant's career that he was barely over 50%. So like you guys said, that win probably definitely played a factor. But, we talked offense, defense, a little bit on the field goal game, but special teams in general just dominant. I mean, setting a school record, 84-yard punt. What'd that look like on TV? I was listening to it on the radio at that point.
He kicked it. I mean, he got great into it, and that wind just took it, and it took off.
Like how?
And it took a great bounce too.
Great 20 yards. It went like well through the end zone, like kept on rolling until it hit like the backstop of the stadium.
Yes.
Like, was it like 20 yards past the returner or what?
I think he just kicked it over the dude's head, and it took a bounce and just like it kept going. It would
like took
another like 30 yards. If he had like the whole field, if the field didn't end, it could have been over 100-yard punt.
Wow. Hey, Chad, can we get Steven's question displayed up on the pod for us? So cool story here, Steven, for you. Back in from 3rd grade to 6th grade, I was actually the team's punter. I did pretty well. I have a career long of 52. Now, my style is a little bit different. I don't like having the ball in the air for a long time. I always was really good at that line drive, getting that ball to really roll, turn over a long way. So I don't know if I would have done better than Mason under the conditions of the wind, because, again, I'm more of that line drive. Really, I'm able to get the point of the ball to hit at about a 12-degree angle, and it just goes. It just keeps rolling.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
And, yeah, so maybe I could have got it further, but, I don't think the wind really would have helped me that much. I love the question, though.
Did you pay Steven to ask you that question?
No, I love it though. I didn't. I love that question.
Daddy, not to shit on you, but I want it to be known that I was the emergency punter for the Bearcats for a couple of years. I don't know if many people knew that, but if like shit hit the fan and like multiple people got hurt, I was like I had a couple talks with Coach Mason that I was the absolute the world is on fire emergency punter, because I would just punt after practice because I've got a big leg and I just love doing it. So I just like trying to convince him to put me in there and get a couple punts, maybe a fake, something like that. Obviously didn't happen. But I just wanted to trump whatever you just said, just to be that guy.
Yeah, it's nothing new. Been doing that since I met you. But no, just to continue to hit on just how last thing I want to touch on SMU, and this is something we've really had to drill into Joe Met, and I'm proud of Joe and his growth as a Bearcat fan. But just winning games outside of looking at the score. You can just go on ESPN, look at the score. You're like, what the hell? Like, Bearcats only won 29-27. Like, what happened? Well, I mean, we still won the yardage battle, won the turnover battle, won time of possession, like we talked about, dominant in special teams. So across the board, if you're looking more at a numbers game, it's not a surprise that we won. I don't think anybody would be surprised that we won, but I don't want people to look at that margin of victory and being like, dang, the Bearcats I guess they just aren't it this year. And I think it's just, there's so much more that goes, like we talk about a lot, going into winning a football game. And, there's 3 facets of a game. It's offense, defense, special teams. And, we definitely took 2 out of 3 on that. SMU didn't even attempt a field goal. So without those touchdowns, they wouldn't have been putting up many points. So
yeah,
my last take.
It is frustrating because it felt like we dominated the game, but just settling for field goals. And I don't know. I think we've just had struggle putting people away. Like we've obviously, other than Arkansas, we haven't lost, so I'm not going to complain about winning. But it does feel like we've just had a little bit of trouble putting people away and just kind of really keeping the foot on the gas, which is, I mean, that's something that happens, but you got to be able to stomp them out when you get the chance. And I think that's something that we're still learning how to do.
I think part of the problem is just like from a fan's perspective. I know you guys have probably a much better perspective than a lot of the fans, but I think the fans are so focused on the Big 12. I know, like, I joke about a lot of stuff. Like, I'm so happy we're done playing this team and that team, but ultimately, like, man, am I excited to play like teams where like the opposite fan base like legitimately cares about the game. Like they care about winning the football game. Like even if it's Kansas or Kansas State or whoever it is, it's more exciting than almost every team we play in our conference, which is just a fact. So I think that plays a part in it. I think like people start to worry like, well, are we, declining? Like obviously last year when you lose 11 dudes to the NFL, 9 of them being drafted, of course you're not going to be as good as you were. It doesn't matter if you're Clemson, Alabama, Cincinnati. You're just not going to be as good. And so I think, like, ultimately, from where I'm coming from, I know where a lot of fans are coming from. They worry about, are we going to be ready for the Big 12? And we might not be, right? Like, we might go 6-6. We might go 7-5, 8-4. Like, but, that's part of the growing process of growing a program. I mean, we can even look back at the Big East. Like, once we were in there for a few years, we eventually, won some football games and won the conference for a few years, which is like we kind of became the program in the Big East for a few years. So, like, we can do that in the Big 12 too, but I don't know if it's just going to happen overnight. Like, things are going to have to change and stuff like that. So I think fans just need to be patient. The playoff was awesome, but also there's like some negatives that come with that too, because now the expectation is the playoff. And while that's a good thing for your program and recruiting and everything, like the pressure also gets bigger as well. So that's a tough thing to kind of navigate. But I think a lot of fans just need to, obviously, they need to take like the Soppy and the Statty approach and just be patient, calm down. It's never as good as it is. It's never as bad as it is. Kind of, stay even. Don't be a roller coaster like Joe Met. Be like Soppy and Statty.
Calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's what I would try to shoot for. Yeah, but yeah, just to close it, I mean, you went on the road, coming off a bye. You never know, like, how a team's going to come off a bye. Some people sleepwalk a little bit. Some people come out, well rested and ready to go. Might have slept off a little bit when it was 17-0. You kind of thought like this could be a blowout. Didn't end up that way, but like we said, a win's a win. So I'm not going to complain about winning football games.
Can we talk about the Knights?
Let's get to the Knights, man. It's a
big game.
What are your thoughts? Let me hear two former players' thoughts and like what we're thinking. Do we have like, gut feeling going into the game? What are you nervous about? What are you excited about?
I'm excited for the guys to play in an environment, a hostile environment on the road. I know that's what it was week 1, obviously, at Arkansas. The Bearcat Nation always shows out in Nipper. That's always an incredible environment. But like you said, some of these road games, like you go on the road and it can be difficult, like in the middle of the game and there's no environment like there was at SMU or at Tulsa. Some of those games, so I'm excited. It's going to be rowdy there. It's UCF's homecoming. They really don't like UC. I know that. The couple people that I've talked to from UCF, and when I tell them that I went to Cincinnati and stuff, there's definitely like a distaste. They definitely don't like us. They see us as like a rival, which that's fine. I think we kind of see them as a rival too. And I know a big part of it is like you want to take down the top dog, right? Like when we were like right there trying to take over from them, take the torch from them. I still don't like them. And I think I really did not like them when we were there more so. So I understand, their distaste for Cincinnati, and this is a huge game for them. And I hope, I don't think the Bearcats would underestimate it by any means, but I think it's a big game, the biggest game that they've had in quite some time.
I know I already talked about like being excited to be in the Big 12 because of like teams that care and fan bases that care. Like UCF can be one of the most annoying fan bases. Like obviously they're just obnoxious on Twitter, and you can tell them that to all your friends down there, Soppy. Like they are just the most irrational, obnoxious people. But also they care, which is like awesome, right? Like we don't sit on Twitter all year and argue with, Tulane fans and Tulsa fans. Like we're on Twitter arguing with, UCF, their fan base, and I think their media people. And for me, like that creates a fun game. The atmosphere is going to be awesome. We know that like the bounce house usually they do a great job of filling that place and making an exciting atmosphere. So like that's just exciting. Like that makes it more fun for me to watch. It makes it going to be fun for you to be at, for Statty to watch, all of us Bearcat fans to be a part of that, even for the team, right? Like there's so many good things about that. So I'm just excited to watch like an awesome football game this Saturday. And I haven't been excited really for a Bearcat game the last few weeks just based upon the opponent. So I'm excited to be excited this week, if that makes sense. I don't know how you're feeling, Statty.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling a little edgy, a little nervous. Got some butterflies in the stomach for the boys, which is a good thing though. I think, like you guys touched on, it's a little bit more legitimate of an opponent. I don't look at them as, how we looked at UCF a couple years ago. I think the target is definitely on us, but I just think their numbers are a little staggered. I don't think they've played great competition. People are probably like, oh, well, they whooped Louisville up. It's like, well, Louisville is just awful this year. So
Louisville actually beat them, if that tells you anything.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Louisville actually did get that win. My fault.
No, you're good. I think UCF stinks, and I'll tell you that in a little bit. You keep talking, but I don't think they're very good.
All right. Well, even better. Like, okay, they lost to Louisville. That's a good note. But, yeah, it's just a team, like, looking at their numbers here, they actually defend the run better than they defend the pass, giving up about 230 in the air. And they're one of the worst defensive teams in the nation as far as creating turnovers and takeaways. So I think that's going to be a key for us. We protected the football last week with no turnovers. So, how we touched on in SMU, just getting the offense back in sync. I'm excited that it's at 3:30. I think having sunshine at that stadium is going to be better than it being an evening game. I'm one of those that I think a daytime atmosphere is a little bit easier to go into on the road versus a night game that can just get out of hand really fast. I don't know, just one of my weird things that I think about. But no, I'm excited for us. It's just UCF, get some nerves, get a little more up for the game.
Do you think that having Soppy at the game will help us significantly?
I think if Soppy's not like top row where the press box is, like banging on the window at Gino, then I think we're going to be having issues. But if Soppy's up there like signaling plays to Gino through the glass, then I think we're going to be great.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be a great story.
I'm excited to go to the game, just as a fan.
Sopko, have you attended a Bearcats road game as a fan before?
Never.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Sopko, have you ever attended a Bearcats home game as a fan before?
When I was being recruited.
That doesn't count.
You weren't a fan. Dude, I'm excited for you.
It's just me and my old lady, man. Just a little date night at the bounce house.
That's awesome. I mean, obviously, getting a road win as a player is awesome, and the party in the locker room is great. But nothing like just shit talking fans.
Yeah, can you guys like prepare me, Joe? Can you kind of like as a veteran away game goer, can you prepare me for what I'm gonna experience? Am I gonna is somebody gonna try to fight me? Am I gonna get beer thrown on me? Like how's that gonna go?
I'm actually a veteran. I'm a veteran at the bounce house as well, because I've been to an away game at the bounce house for game day a few years ago, and I know you were there, Statty. I know it's a touchy subject. I know it's a touchy subject, Statty, but I was there, It was an all-day thing. I mean, their fans are a little bit obnoxious. Not the worst fan base I've ever dealt with in person. I don't, I don't know if maybe I just didn't run into the same people I see on Twitter at the game. But as long as as long as you keep yourself in check, down there in Orlando, I think everything's going to be okay. I'm hoping the Bearcats just get a win, make your life a little bit easy. But I'm excited. When we were at that game, though, I don't know if I know I've told this story, I think, before on the pod, but like we were having all those signal issues and like we had like a couple false starts to start the game because the place was so loud. And I'll give credit. That's maybe the loudest atmosphere I've ever been a part of, but they were doing like the whoa, and then like, how like Penn State does, we are Penn State. Like they were going UCF Knights, and they were like, it was electric city in Orlando that night because they almost had me jumping and like doing the chant with them because I was like, this is kind of awesome. But no, it's a fine act. I don't expect it to be that way. I think game day played a huge role in why it was so crazy that night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I have super high expectations because the only time that I've been to a game there was that game that you're talking about that we played in. It was like one of the most unreal, probably the best atmosphere, at least road game that I've ever been a part of. So I have huge expectations, but I agree. Like it is homecoming. I know that. I know it's going to be crowded and people feel really good about this team and Gus Malzahn and the direction that they're going in. I don't know if last week's loss makes them. Yeah, I don't think it's I'm not trying to like hype them up like they're some great team. I think they're an okay team. I don't think that they are favored though.
Are they good for our conference? Yes.
Yeah, they're good for our conference, but like they're not that good of a team. Like
I'll be disappointed if we go over there and lose. I'll be not only because it's a loss, but just I think it's a team that we should not lose to.
I wouldn't be shocked if we lost, but like they don't have one player that's ever beat UC on their entire roster. So like the days of like them being this program where everyone looks at them like with this high level of respect is over. Like it's been years since they've been like a really good football team. And that was 2 coaches ago. Like, I mean, I know Josh Heupel's doing a great job at Tennessee, but I never was ever impressed with him at UCF. And I know like, so Chad and Aaron and those guys on the BCJ podcast this week talked about like Gus Malzahn at Auburn being famous for like he'd lose to like Ole Miss or Mississippi State, then he'd beat Alabama or LSU like the week later, right? Like he had like these crazy lows and these crazy highs, and that's kind of how his tenure went at Auburn. But he hasn't beat anyone at UCF since he's been there. I know he's only been there a year and a half, but he hasn't beaten anyone there since he's been there. And I don't know. I'm not buying. Like, I don't know if they'll ever. It's hard to get like right. I wouldn't like UC fans. I wouldn't be shocked if we never made it back to the playoff. Like I'm right. Like, and I know people will hate me for saying that, but same thing goes for UCF. Like, it will not be a shock if they never return for like an undefeated, wonderful season. Like, they can still have a really good program and not do that. We can still have a really good program and not do that. But ultimately, it's really hard to get those type of things done and accomplish those type of things. So there are fans like holding on to the past. Alsapi, you and your friends down there in Orlando, like dreaming about the 2017 national championship phantom year. That's over with. Like the Knights
they have 2017 national champions like huge on their stadium. It's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in my life.
That's wild.
Like there's their press box and then like all across 2017 national champions. And I saw that, it was like, that's the most ridiculous thing. Like
what
that's
they believe it. They believe it wholeheartedly.
That's wild. Like I get it as a fan base, but as the university as a whole, to think like,
I mean, they should have got a shot. I would have loved to see, but at the end of the day, like UCF had to walk so UC could run. We don't get in the playoff last year if UCF didn't do what they did a couple years before. I truly believe that. I don't know.
Dude, stop.
Do you feel differently?
I disagree strongly with you based upon the fact that the Bearcat team the year before took the Georgia Bulldogs toe-to-toe. And that Georgia team they took toe-to-toe and that UC team that took them toe-to-toe were literally the same exact teams they returned the next year because of all those guys sitting out. And like the following year when we went to Indiana and won, we went to Notre Dame and convincingly won, right? Like a Notre Dame team that won 11-1.
Yeah.
UCF had no wins like that. And also my other thing, I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't think it's a stupid thing to say. Like, it definitely probably helped a little bit. But also, we had 11 dudes go play in the NFL, 9 of which got drafted, and a bunch of which are balling out right now in the league. Like, to me, it's two completely different things. Like, in my opinion, we belonged on that stage. I know we didn't fare well against Alabama, but we belonged on that stage. There was not a better option than us to go into that college football playoff, in my opinion. So that's where I'm kind of coming from on that aspect.
I don't think, like, obviously we deserved every bit to be in there at last year, and a lot played into it. But you don't think that played a factor, what UCF did a couple of years ago? Because I think that kind of was like, the committee's like, oh shit, well, like, we didn't let UCF in and they did all this. Like, now, like, we can't not give these guys a shot. I think it played into it at least a little bit.
Those people in Orlando have brainwashed you.
You don't think that, like,
I agree.
No, it didn't have shit to do with it. No. Here's even a little bit.
Here's my thing. We started the year last year at 8th in the country, correct? Like,
that's had everything, and everything had to break exactly right, and it did. If Baylor scores a touchdown, you guys don't make it.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing at all. Like,
it has nothing to do with UCF in 2017.
We checked off every box we needed to check off, and the season went perfectly. And thank God it did, because it was an unbelievable ride. But I just think that, like, that had a little bit, like,
nothing
set the all right.
What did it have to do with it? Like, do you really think, like, they're in the committee's in the room, like, you know what? 2017, like,
hey, you gotta cut him a break though. He's been in Orlando for a while.
He's been brainwashed.
He's been soaking in the sun. He passes that national championship sign every day, and he goes, "Man, what
could have been?"
Yeah.
No, the sign is.
Sopko paid $2, or Sopko Tonk just paid $2 for you to shut up.
All right, that's fine.
Appreciate you, Tonk. Good looking out, Tonk.
And he paid $5 to say UCF is bitch made.
Dude, I'll tell you what, the Gus bus. So, you know, obviously, Statty, I know you know the bench warmers Gus bus. They call Gus Malzahn the Gus bus, and they have actual, like, huge buses called the Gus bus with his face on it that drive around campus.
You need to make a you need to. You got to do something to make fun of that shit.
I'm not creative enough. I'm not good enough at arts and crafts.
I had some pretty killer signs.
The Luke limo.
Is that a thing?
No, I'm brainstorming here.
Let's create that.
No.
The Luke
or like
limo?
the Luke Lambo.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's better than Sopko saying that Cincinnati owes the playoff to UCF 2017.
4 years prior.
You guys are taking my words out of context.
I had some killer signs back in 2019 or 2018 whenever we went to have college game day. It was 2017, wasn't it?
What are you talking about?
Back when game day, we played UCF on game day there. Okay. So 2018, I had some killer signs. Like, you guys, I don't know if you remember how good my signs were. I probably posted them on Instagram, but they were awesome. Like, some very creative signs, like stuff that I forget.
Yeah. Would you like to share? Or are you gonna
you forget?
I forget what they were. I gotta go look back at it.
Thanks, Joe. All right, appreciate that.
Let me go. I'm gonna go find that real quick. Okay.
All right. Well, went off the rails here, Sopko. You asked for advice about road games. Number one thing I'd suggest you wear red. That way you can, just definitely stand out and significantly make known that you are a Bearcat. And if not to give your info out too much, but you're getting a family section seat, right? Yeah. So you'll be around other Bearcats. I think you need to be the leader of chants. Hype man. I think I helped play that role at Notre Dame, dude. It was so fun. I think you go in, maybe rip a couple shots right before you go in there.
You think I should just get shit housed before?
Yeah. Yes.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Dude, no, I'm locked in. But
You
I'll have a couple beers, but like I gotta be locked in.
Why stress through another football game? We did that enough.
Yeah, you're right. Dude, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be really stressed if it's a close game. Like
that's why you need to drink. No, sorry, that's not the answer. Maybe a little bit.
Dude, what about my drip? What do I wear? I have like 1,000 different Bearcat items.
I like that hat. I like that hat you got on.
That's gonna go for sure. Do I
we
go
need
polo? Red. Do I go like cotton bowl, like cut off hoodie? Like I have 1,000 different like Bearcat,
I think you move on from the cotton bowl. Don't want to be UCF and dwell in the past. Don't want to fall into their trap. I think you rock the red coaching polo. I think it'd be fire.
That seems pretty legit. Or do I just look like a douchey frat boy in the polo? I think the polo is a solid move.
Dude, what about a Bearcat cutoff?
I have a Bearcat cutoff hoodie.
What about dude, that'd be awesome. Or you wear your number 10 jersey. Do you have any of your jerseys down there?
I actually don't, dude. They're in a that would be hilarious if I wore my actual like game jersey. That would be so funny.
Yeah. Like the Birmingham Bowl patch jersey.
I have that, but I don't have it here with me. I have a frame jersey. I could just like roundhouse, kick it in, break the glass, and throw on the red bowl game jersey or whatever.
Joey B, wear the game worn jersey. No, Bearcat related though. I have a cool opportunity this weekend on Sunday. Gonna go check out Derek Forrest and Alec Pierce live in action. I'm excited, dude. Gonna take a trip out to Indianapolis. Love Lucas Oil Stadium, and we talk about the Bearcats in the NFL a lot the last couple of weeks. Their dominance, and I'm excited to get to go see them live action. I think it's gonna be dope. I'm gonna be able to finally wear this jersey for the first time and not be questioned why I have it. I actually have a Washington football team Terry McLaurin jersey.
Really?
The story behind that is me and 3 other buddies. We picked to become bandwagons of the football team because we love the name so much that for Christmas we each got each other a jersey. And whose it was pulled from a hat. And mine is the only person that's still active on the team. So I'm excited to wear it.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about. How long did your fandom last of the Washington football team?
Oh, I'm a comm. I'm a commander now.
Are you?
I still refer to them as the football team. Yeah. Especially with Defo out there. Used to be my barber. For those fans who don't know, Defo cuts. I'm excited whenever his long tenured NFL career comes to an end. I hope he gets back to high and tights, some bald fades, some high tapereds. Dude used to get me looking crispy. I tell you that.
That's great. Sam Ellinger making his first career start. You got to watch.
Yeah, I don't have to watch Matt Ryan noodle arm. I get Ellinger.
I picked up Sam in fantasy. Put him on my bench. I got a feeling he's going to play well.
I got Mahomes on a bye. I might have to follow that. Ellinger versus Heineke.
Mm-hmm.
That's an electric, dude. That's electric.
Fireworks, dude. That's fireworks. 2 just young, just like you look at him, you're like, wait, you're in the NFL and you play quarterback? I think it's gonna be electric. Firework factory. I don't know.
Do we have predictions for the UCF game?
Yeah.
I kind of want to hear what you guys are thinking. Like, what are your predictions? I have my prediction.
I want you to go first then, because it sounds like you want to let it rip.
Yeah, I mean, the people aren't going to like my prediction.
Dude, if you say we lose, this might be your last episode.
At 31-27 Knights. I just
have it. Yeah, thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Holy cow! All right.
Anyways,
sorry, everyone. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, what the hell's that guy's problem?
He just said how bad UCF was, and now we're gonna lose. Sorry.
But, listen, here's my thing.
No. Can we mute him? Can we put him in timeout again?
Oh.
Thank you. Okay. Just Joe, I need you to sit there.
I want to hear what he has to say.
All right.
Let's welcome to the real world, fellas. Like we've sneaked.
You just said how bad they were.
We snuck by the last 3 crap teams we played. Is SMU good? Is USF good? Neither of them are any good. No one we play is good. Outside Arkansas is not even good.
Dubs.
Let's just be honest with what we've got. We're not playing a lot of great teams, and we're continually barely getting by. I just think the luck's bound to run out. I hope I'm wrong. Fellas. But I'm good. When I say my prediction every week, it's what I really think. I'm not going to bring my bias into it.
UCF has lost to Louisville and ECU.
I know. I hear you.
Well, yeah, but you're putting expectations on Cincinnati that you're not putting on the opponent.
I just don't know. I don't think we haven't played.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong there?
No, you're right. We haven't played good football though.
Neither have they.
Against
Temple, they played good against Temple.
But they're at home. They've been waiting for this game for the last 365. You know how they are. They've been talking about this game like it's the crosstown shootout.
No, we don't need to get on that right now.
You don't even like that rivalry, which is another crazy. We'll talk about that come basketball season.
Get to that one, please. Okay. Everyone listening, I'm very sorry. If Joe would have let us know before the show that he was going to do all that, we probably wouldn't have gone on air tonight. I want
to hear what Soppy doesn't seem to be too mad at my take. He seems to think I'm like not talking so crazy over there.
You said enough. I think Bearcats, we put it together again offensively, get back to Ben Bryant fireworks. Now, I finally don't have a fat spread that I have to try and cover with the guess of the score. I think it's going to be a dogfight initially. I love 10 getting another 100 yards. I love Ben Bryant throwing for 250 plus. And I like the Cats 31-20. 31-20.
31-20. I like that. Yeah. I think it's going to be a good game. I hope it's like a shootout and there's fireworks. I hope we're throwing the ball deep. And we'd have some big plays. I know that they're kind of like a big play offense on like the one hitters. That's kind of how they roll. John Rice Plumlee, their quarterback, is also their leading rusher. So he's very athletic. He's also a baseball player, plays both. So, hopefully we can contain him. I know we've had problems with running quarterbacks in the past, but I think if you can contain him and we don't turn the ball over, we should win. We're the better team. If we win this, it's 20 straight conference wins, which would be a record. We would take that away from – we're tied with UCF with 19 straight. So I think it's a big game. Hopefully it's a shootout. I don't know if it'll be that way, but I think it's going to be 27-21 Bearcats. They're going to cover the spread. I'm going to hammer the Bearcats plus 1.5. I think that's a lock, and I'm excited to be there, excited to be in the atmosphere, and I feel really good about, a Bearcats win. But I think it could be a close game.
Kathy, I love it. Thank you, Kathy. Can you get this man in check? Thank you.
Wait, hold up. Rooting against the Bearcats and thinking they're going to lose are completely two different things. Like, you guys got to chill, wake up.
Joe, man. Joe.
Wait till basketball season when I tell you guys all the negative stuff Steady used to say during basketball season. I used to have to talk him off ledges every game.
I'll be negative on the pod. Our basketball team was horrible. What do you mean?
This was back when we were going to 9 straight NCAA tournaments. You'd get mad at games. You'd be like, this is awful. I'd have to talk.
We had John Brannon running. Okay, I'm not getting into it. It's football season. Anyways, you guys got locks of the week?
I do. My lock of the week didn't hit again. Ole Miss looked good.
Fade the rock, everyone.
Got their ass completely handed to them, just destroyed. So, again, like we keep saying, fade the rock. Thought about making the Cats plus 1.5 my lock, but I don't want that, to not hit. So I don't want that bad juju in the air. So I'm not going to make that my lock of the week. There's 2 games that I've been going back and forth on, to be completely honest with you. I really like TCU minus 7.5 at West Virginia. I think West Virginia stinks. I don't know why that line's not bigger. I don't care that it's in Morgantown. They stink. And then Syracuse, I know they just kind of blew a game against Clemson, but the Cuse -2 at home against Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame's a very good football team. I like that as well. So either of those I feel comfortable with, but I'm gonna go TCU. That's what I'm gonna do. I like both, but I'm gonna go TCU -7.5. I think they're gonna blow out West Virginia.
I've got 2 locks the week for games, not a parlay. Okay. My first, I want everyone to go live bet Virginia Tech, NC State. Just live bet Virginia Tech money line. They're up 14-3 in the third quarter. I just need to get a win. I need to get my fans a win, so I'm going to go with that. And then I'm going to
at all.
Hey, no. Hammer it. And then I want to my other lock of the week this week is going to be the Irish money line. Yeah.
I mean, hey, that line is
they stink.
They're not very good.
I know they do. I know they stink, but I'm just going to start creating a thing where whatever you two kind of pick, I'm just going to pick something the opposite just for fun. So I'm going
excited.
I said I like Syracuse -2 a lot, but for the record, I took
TCU is
-7.5. So if you feel good about WVU and the Mountaineers, then fine. But
I'm taking the Irish.
For the record, everyone, if you just joined us, he said that the Bearcats were going to lose this week, and now he's taking Notre Dame to win. If you guys want to have us get Joe off the show for future, or maybe suspend him for a week, totally down to listen about reasons why. Moving on, there's a battle down over in Pennsylvania with an offense that just doesn't know how to not score more than 40 points a game versus a coach who is just horrible against top 10 teams. And I'm taking the block O to cover that 14.5 at Penn State. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to ever be close. And it's going to be another long day for James Franklin. He'll end up riding the wave out the rest of the year, finish with 2 losses, get in probably another contract extension, and do well for Penn State. But they are a very far, far way away from competing at all with this Ohio State team.
If it was going to be a whiteout, would that have changed your answer?
Having it at noon does affect it a little bit because I know the Buckeyes play a lot of noon home games. But Penn State they went wide out last week, I thought.
Yeah.
Here's the real question. How many points would Ohio State have to give before you didn't bet Ohio State? 14.5 seems like a layup.
I like them 28.
That's what I was like, double? About 29.
I'll take 30. I'll take the Bucks by 30. Alternate line.
Is it worse to pick the Buckeyes or the Irish?
Good question.
The Buckeyes, 1,000% in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hate Ohio State more than pretty much anything. I'm just talking about them against James Franklin in a gambling sense. Like, there's no way that game's close. There's
some wild lines out there.
I know.
14.5 seems like you almost feel like that's one of those games you feel like Vegas somehow knows they know more than you know.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, they'll probably shit on them. Ohio State.
I just don't understand. I mean, they gave up 400 rushing yards to Michigan, or 360. Like, I don't. I know it's all about C.J. Stroud and their receivers, but holy cow, you can't stop the run. What do you think the number 3 team in the country is going to do? 2 team in the country. I mean, they're going to run the ball.
The Big Ten's a 2-team race. It's Michigan and Ohio State, and no one else is even close. And really, I don't think Michigan's getting there. I'll give him that. I think he's done a good job, but no one else is even close to either of those 2 teams. Like, there is such a wide gap.
Can I get a last minute lock of the week ad?
Yeah.
We're just gonna talk out the side of our mouth this week, apparently. Thanks, Joe Matt. An interesting line, number 10, Wake Forest at Louisville, 3.5. That's pretty low. Pretty low. I'm gonna go Cardinals. We're gonna have some fun. Louisville Cardinals at home, plus 3.5. Add that to the sheet.
I hope you know I root against your picks every single week. Like I nothing gives me more joy than like Saturdays watching your picks fall apart, and I just sit on my phone and just laugh the whole time. That's what I'm rooting for this weekend. I don't even care about my locks anymore. It's just all about like the Statty locks win or not.
Viewers and listeners, believe it or not, Joe Matt is one of my favorite people in my life. So I know we butt heads all day long, but
yeah, I do love Statty a lot.
This guy is awesome. Yeah. Fellas, we got anything else for the people? Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, UCF Superfan and Steven, for all your comments. They don't go unnoticed. We're still finding our way here on the StreamYard and figuring out how to get better each week. And we appreciate all of our listeners, viewers, and please reach out to us on Twitter. That's a little bit more active. We do have Instagram, but reach out to us on Twitter. Tag us in pictures. Send us funny things if you like us, things we can improve on. All in all, number one thing, go Bearcats, and let's go get a 7th win.
Hey, here's the hoping I'm wrong. When we come on the pod next week, here's the hoping Joe Matt was more wrong than he's ever been.
I can't wait for Kathy Mulaney's comments next week.
Yeah, I'm fired up for him too. And Tonk.
Yes. Tonk is having a day. Tonk's having a night with us.
I love it. I'll be there. I'm excited. You see me, say what's up. I'll send you guys the Rock pictures. I'm looking forward to being a fan and watching the boys get the dub, man. I'm really excited about that and feel good about, us coming down to Orlando and getting after it. So
have fun this weekend, man. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Get our viewers maybe a video of the scene as you walk into the stadium out on Twitter. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get something going. That'd be dope.
Awesome. All right, fellas. Go Bearcats, baby.
Go Cats.
Go Cats, y'all.